Nigeria's business environment has its challenges, but it's hoped that a better relationship between regulators and the private sector can improve it. Some proponents of the private sector feel a more aggressive approach from business should be adopted to hold the government more accountable in order to pave the way for a thriving business environment. Joining us to discuss further, our next guest feels the private sector should hold government to account. We're joined from the United Arab Emirates, Dr. Stephen Akintayo, who's a Group Managing Director, CEO of GTEX Holdings. Good afternoon, or I think it's evening there. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. The business community tends to stay away from politics and issues of governance there. Why do you think they should get more involved?
Well, I mean, any economy that is doing well, if you study, you realize that they run it like a business. Here in Dubai is run like a business. You see, in fact, I was in one of the agencies the other day. I was giving water in government agency, treated like you've come to a commercial location. When they are done servicing you, they encourage you to rate them. Whether their services is excellent or not. You see them literally showing their customer service awards, government agencies. You and I know what happened in Nigeria. We know how government agencies, the staff, the structure, the lack of automation, the corruption in the system. And this is because many of the people running those agencies are not entrepreneurs. They've never run business before. The same thing we've done even in politics. We've left political appointments, governance to people who are not professionals, who have not even succeeded in their private enterprise once. We give them the entire nation to run for us. It's just not wise.
All right. Well said. So is it, it's in the best, is it in the best interest of the business community to, it is to maintain a good relationship with government regulators. How then can, business voice their concerns over governance in your view?
I think part of it is just like what I'm doing even now. We need to get in. You hardly find entrepreneurs come in and have conversation about the impact of government policies on their business. People are scared. The fear is that, they will come after me. The day I come on a rise, maybe the next day the tax guys will just knock at my door or that. But the reality is that you will not have any business if things continue to run the way they are running. You will no longer have customers. You will no longer be able to grow your business. You will have to downsize or even shut down entirely. And that's the trend we've been seeing for some years now in Nigeria. And it's because those of us who have seen how things have done, we've moved our business from, I started my business with $10, we've grown it to hundreds of millions of dollars in 4 continents of the world. Now that is a human capital. That's a skill that is needed in government as well, to be able to move, what the GDP of the country is XYZ, but we're able to grow it to XYZ. That is a skill that we need to put in. And we that were not interested in politics need to begin to encourage those who have gone into politics to say, hey, can you do it better? Can we work together? We're affected as well with, the incompetence that come into the system. And as we all put that pressure, and I've seen it work in different climes. I mean, if you check other, Western world, their TV station, you see CEOs of companies coming to talk. Anytime there's a policy from their central bank, business owners come on TV to talk about the implications and all of that. And I think media also needs to help here to begin to put pressure on, entrepreneurs, businesses to, talk about the effect of policies of government policies on their business.
All right. We've got elections coming up in a few months. Around the world, in the lead up to elections, business communities, they quietly fund the campaigns of candidates that they support, which they believe will be in their best interests. As opposed to what you're suggesting, what do you make of that strategy that's carried out elsewhere?
Well, it depends. It depends on the company, the organization. I'm aware a lot of people do that. My organization, we don't have enough money to even start doing. But yes, organizations do that. I remember a bank CEO shared a story with me of how he donated to a particular political party, but not the candidate himself, only for the candidate to become the governor. And where they used to use as a parking lot was the first place they took over the entire place and messed them up. So when there was a new election, he insisted the candidate come to his house and he personally supported the candidate. I said, see my face so that when you get there. So they do, I mean, companies do that. And I don't think it depends on the electoral rules. As long as it's legit, it's ethical, there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that beyond just giving money, we need to get involved. For example, I'm starting a TV show called Big Talk with DSA, where I got government officials, I got citizens of the country, and then young Nigerians as audience. And I'm in the middle, right? And we're beginning to discuss issues from power to transportation to different sectors of the economy. So we want to see more entrepreneurs get involved and and lobby and negotiate and put pressure. Because what we do now, we just fold our hands and begin to complain. And of course, when election comes, you will see politicians come to the business community to raise funds, right? And almost as if you are raising funds to support competence, right? So we need to begin to have that argument about what's your policy, what's what will you do when you get there? What's the assurance you are giving the business community that businesses will thrive under you, right? So.
All right. We'll get a little more specific. I want you to take a listen to this clip from a webinar hosted by Cedar and Ash Capital. Their CEO, Akintayo Moshobi, he was talking about the candidates and whether or not they're free market and I guess their philosophies towards the markets. Let's take a listen.
Top candidates seem to be pro-market when you look at it from precedence. This is precedence and not capacity, right? The PDP candidates, that was the 1999 to 2003 or 2007 was where we had more pro-market policies in Nigeria, right? The APC candidates, Lagos State is one of the states that sort of has implemented pro-market policies, right? And then the Labour candidates are spoken about what he can do, which is also pro-market. So for me, in terms of general optimism, I just can tell that whichever way it tides, we'll be better than where we are now in terms of whoever comes to power, we're better than where we are now. But then there's what you want to do, there's what you think can be done, and there's also capacity to make it happen. And those are where voters would have to consider in terms of who can make it work.
Doctor, what do you make of that? I guess without mentioning names, what do you make of the prospects of, I guess, free market policies which would aid the business community here based on the candidates that are running, at least the top ones running for office for next year?
I agree with him. The PDP, APC, and Labour candidates are all pro-market. The antecedent has shown that they're entrepreneurs. PDP candidate is said to own one of the largest logistic companies in Africa. APC candidate things he has done in the business community. Labour candidate has chaired a bank before and all that. So that's key. But I also feel that we also need to look at the strengths, the fiscal health, and strength and age. We've seen what happened in the current administration where the president often had to go on medical leave. As you age, even though you are competent, right, age affects your ability to deliver on your promises. We've seen President Buhari often lament how he wish he was younger. So I feel that is also a major factor that has to be considered in this election. Who is younger, who is able to, who has the energy, because the Nigerian problem is complex and it's huge, and it will take a lot. I personally pity the next president, whoever he is, because it's not going to be easy turning things around, and it's just not going to be easy. No matter how good you are, things takes time, and it's going to be a tough one. But I think the electorate should consider age, strength, youthfulness, ability to spend hours and hours, digging out solutions to the challenges of this country.
Great stuff. So as far as the Nigerian business environment is concerned, looking ahead, are you optimistic?
I'm afraid, honestly, that I'm really scared for Nigeria at this moment. I'm really scared. In fact, for our company, what we had to do was to, go bullish internationally. We're launching a 54-acre estate in Dallas, Texas, single-family home, multiple family homes. Here in Dubai, we're expanding big time. The UK, just finished our largest conference in the US as well. So what we had to do, and I see a lot of entrepreneurs doing that, they are beginning to expand outside of Nigeria, so that in case anything happened, at least your expansion sustain what is back at home. And that's why we all then need to engage more. This election is no longer the usual, let anything go. We in the business community were affected. You are the one that will have to downsize. You are the one that have to shut down your business. You are the one that will make less or no profit at all. You are the one that have to tell stories to your investors who are expecting return on investment. So if we're serious about making sure that the country that we're hoping we have invested our money and we're expecting good returns work, we need to go beyond just sitting in the boardroom. We need to get into the system and understand the candidates and lobby as much as we can and rally around the business community to begin to see how we can support candidates that we think can deliver and can help the nation at large. Because ultimately, no matter how much you think you have in Nigeria, with the rate of insecurity, 10 convoys will no longer secure you anymore. So we all have to get serious. We have to be serious about making sure this country works for everyone, even if you don't know anybody. We have to make sure businesses thrive so there are jobs and young people can get jobs. And the time of, I'm a businessman, I'm comfortable, I don't care what happened to my neighbor, that time has ended.
Dr. Stephen Akintayo, GMD CEO, GTEX Holdings, thank you so much for talking to us about the business environment and how governance impacts it. Thank you for your time.